She's commenting on recording for my channel. Oops.
And we're going to talk about, let's see, what it's...
Growing up in Brooklyn.
Oh, we're going to talk about how it was like for her to grow up in Brooklyn today. So, Grandma Thelma, tell us how it felt so long ago growing up in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn was a little different place than it is today. It was a very good place to grow up with a family. There was all kinds of stores all over. You could walk everywhere. You weren't afraid to walk in the streets at night. The libraries were wonderful. There was movies, maybe 3-4 movies in every neighborhood. Everybody knew each other. And
what did your parents do? Did they come from a different country or no?
Yes, my parents were both born in Poland, and my father came earlier. He came after the First World War, about 1919, and my mother came in 1923.
Oh, wow. And do you have any uncles and aunts that also crossed over?
Yes, my mother had a brother, Uncle Harry, and he never got married, and he was like a grandfather to me because my parents came by themselves. Their parents never came to the United States.
Oh, so you know what? That must have been super difficult because I know, did they come up on the boat through New York or no?
Yeah, they came on the boat from, I think the boat left from Germany, and the boat got to Ellis Island.
Oh, so did they have to switch last names or anything? But wait, Grandma Thelma, don't disclose your personal information, but just say if they had to change their last name at all, because we don't want so much private information being...
My father only had to change one letter in his last name.
Oh, so also my great-grandparents, also they took on their maiden name. And my grandfather's father took his wife's name or something like that when they came to America also. But wait,
what year did they come here?
I'm not sure. I just know that I'm third generation American, so I don't know. Wait, so in Brooklyn, did they have a bunch of Hasidic people or people didn't have cell phones?
People then in the Depression. The Hasidic people came after the Second World War.
Oh, so was your community...
The stores were open on Saturday. Everybody went to an Orthodox synagogue, but most people traveled on Saturday. When the war ended and there was an influx of people from Hungary and Germany, there were many people there that were Shomer Shabbos, and they moved in the neighborhood, and the neighborhood changed completely.
Did you also
growing up, it was altogether different.
Did you also have Italians?
There were Jews and Italians, that's all. There were no such a thing as WASP. When we learned in this country that there was white American, that they were the majority, you didn't know that in the neighborhood that I lived in. There were only Jews and Italians.
Wow.
And everybody, most of the Jews stayed together and most of the Italians stayed together, but everybody was friends. I don't remember any prejudice or anything or anyone fighting with one another.
Oh, that's good. So wait, did you have like a butcher shop on your block? Did you live in a small apartment? Because
I lived in a four-floor walk-up apartment house. We lived on the second floor, and we had a very small 2-bedroom apartment. I lived there with my mother, father, and I had one brother. And my Uncle Harry had his own apartment, but he ate dinner with us every night.
Wow. So wait. So what do you remember? Did they have? You didn't have a freezer and the
There were no freezers. And the refrigerators didn't even have a freezing compartment. That came afterwards. You had an ice man that came every week and put ice in when I was growing up.
Wow. And did you have like a milkman and milk?
Yes, I had a milkman, and there was a bread man came, and sometimes on the street there was a fruit truck that sold fruit.
Oh, so when you were alive in Brooklyn, it used to be like everyone just knew each other. It's not like nowadays you do social.
That's right. People stayed outside, and if anybody came from a different street, they were asked where they were from, because the women stayed outside. They didn't have air conditioning, so and children played outside. We didn't have a lot of toys or anything, but we used to play games outside.
So what were your favorite games you used to play outside with your friends, like your neighbors or something?
We used to play Simon Says. We used to play a game, May I? And we played jacks. And we had a ball, and we would bounce it. And there was a song we used to sing. You started with A and you went through the alphabet. A, my name is Anna, and my husband's name is Albert. We come from Alabama, and we sell apples.
Wow.
You had to do everything in the letter that you were in. That was the game.
That sounds like
my father didn't have a car. We had to go by subway or bus, and I walked a lot. And we had the same friends. We used to walk, a whole group of people, to school every day. Nobody got rides. We all walked.
There wasn't school buses?
No school buses then.
Oh, so then you had like the same people. You kind of grew up with the community, but did everyone move from the Bronx or what?
Brooklyn? Well, a lot of people moved. I don't know who's left there. I'm sure there are some that lived there that left there. Some moved to other neighborhoods. And at that time, most of the people had small businesses, or they worked in the garment center, and they didn't travel. Afterwards, people got jobs, and some of the jobs took them to other cities.
Oh, wow. So when is did you get to pick the live chickens, or was it like everything was frozen?
Yes, there was live chicken. There was a live chicken market. And there was even somebody that was called a chicken flicker, and he used to pick the chickens from the market. You bought fresh chickens that were killed.
Oh my! Wow! Oh my God! So that must have been like a crazy time, I would think.
No, it was a very nice time, and we had a subway that took us to Coney Island. And the big treat was when we got the 55 cents. And we could go to Steeplechase and go on all the rides in Steeplechase.
Is Steeplechase, does it still exist or no?
No. It's not there anymore. In fact, there's housing there now.
Oh, wow. That must be like so crazy. Have you gone back since you left or no?
Yes. My parents lived there for a while. And I've even went there, I don't know. I haven't been for a while. I would like to go because it's altogether different now.
Oh, so it must be so interesting when you go through like memory lane, like your memories must be like.
Well, 13th Avenue, which is the big street in Borough Park where I lived, was all the stores were open on Saturday, and there were mostly fashion stores there. Now there are different stores on the street. There are smaller stores. There are more grocery stores. There are other stores, and all of them now have a religious connotation. There were a lot of kosher butchers when I was growing up, but there was no such a thing as glatt kosher. It was either kosher or not kosher.
And why do you think that changed in 2021 then?
Because there were other people lived, and they started a different way of life. The Hasidim came, and they had their shuls, and they walked to shul, and real estate is booming there now.
That's good. Do you think due to the COVID-19 pandemic that it will change?
I really don't think that that'll have anything to do with it, because the people that live there, at this point, love to live there, and they have no intention of moving.
That's good. Do you know any small bakeries that were during...
Every neighborhood had a bakery, and everything was baked fresh there.
Wow. So do you have a favorite memory you can share with my channel?
Well, my favorite memory was...
Or multiple memories.
It was, I loved growing up, and everybody was helpful. I remember we had one hurricane that came there, and our neighbor got everybody from the street. He was the only person that had a car because he was a carpenter, and he used to use it to go to fix people's houses. So he came to the school, and he took everybody home. Everybody was very helpful, and they were close to each other.
Do you think nowadays people are as the same?
No, I don't think people are as close now. There's a lot of fear. People don't trust other people. That time, people trusted everybody else. They knew everybody else, and there was a different feeling growing up.
So do you feel blessed that you grew up in a time where everyone could be a teacher?
Look, the times were financially very hard. Nobody had very much money, and it was very hard to make a living. Money was very scarce, but somehow people went to school, they got good educations, and most of them did very well in life afterwards.
And did you get any education? Did you go to college or high school?
Yes, I went to Brooklyn College.
Oh, and is Brooklyn College, does it still exist or it's gone?
Yes, absolutely, it still exists.
Oh, that's nice. And what did you major in?
Liberal arts.
Oh, so then you became a teacher. Did you stay in Brooklyn?
I didn't become a teacher. I didn't want to be a teacher. I wanted to be a lawyer, but my parents didn't want me. They said, you're not going to get married if you're too educated. Anyway, things worked out very good. And now it's all 15 minutes up yet.
You have 3 minutes left.
All right, I'll let you ask me questions and I'll answer them now.
Okay, so thank you so much, Grandma Thelma, for coming on our channel today.
It was a pleasure. I love speaking to you. And if you think of anything else, just call me and I'll be glad to share anything.
So I was wondering, because you said, what did you say was the Great Depression you lived in Brooklyn?
That's right. The Depression started in 1929. I was born in 1930, and it didn't really end until after the Second World War. So when I was growing up, there was a depression in the United States.
Oh, so did you remember, like, your parents having, for having any, like, choices on food rations? Or I know they had that you can go shopping with little stamps or something to the grocery store?
That was in the war, but food stamps came afterwards.
Oh. And do you remember helping your mom with shopping lists, or it was too hard to get food or something like that?
No, we always everything I walked with her. And then the war started and it became rent control. Apartments were very cheap. You could manage with so little money that it's like unbelievable.
Wow.
And everybody I knew how to stretch $1.
Wow, but nowadays it's so funny that you say that, because nowadays I feel like this generation doesn't even know the value of the dollar.
That I agree with you.
And do you think it's because they saw their parents trying to make things work, but nowadays you don't really see behind the scenes?
Now I see that the parents want to give their children everything.
And do you agree with that or disagree with that?
No, I think that children should work a little more for what they have, and they shouldn't count on their parents. They should know how to make a living for themselves, and because nobody knows what's going to happen in life.
Okay, Grandma Thelma has reached the 15-minute mark. Thank you for coming to be on our show today. And as we say, remember to stay positive. And is there any final thoughts you'd like to share before we hang up?
No, I would like everybody to be healthy, and I hope that this is the beginning of the end of the pandemic, and I hope we go on to a normal life where people can live life the way they want it.
Amen. So everyone remember, May is here also. Stay positive, and we'll see you next Tuesday for Grandma Thelma's and Tuesdays. Mwah!